This episode of the HooperCast is brought to you by Letterboxd. Right now, listeners of our show have the chance to win a free 1-year pro account upgrade on Letterboxd. For those of you who don't know, Letterboxd is a social network for film lovers that allows you to track, rate, and review the films you watch. You can follow other members to get recommendations. You can publish lists of films like your top 10 for the year, and a lot more. Letterboxd is free to use. There's no subscription fee, but a pro account is going to provide you with additional features such as a customized summary of your past year's viewing. If you already have an account, then you get a 1-year extension free. So even if you're already paying for the pro account, you're thinking, oh yeah, I don't need this. I've already got it. Thanks a lot, HooperCast, for, I already re-upped my subscription. You get a year free on us. So you're included as well. If you want to enter, all you have to do is listen to our show and we will read the code word at random. Then you're going to send us an email at hoopercast@gmail.com, enter the code word in the subject line of the email, and make sure you include your Letterboxd username in the email so that we know which account to reward. If you send us the code word, but I don't know your login, we're going to move on to the next person. So make sure you send us the code word and your account username, and then you're in like Flint, my friend. The winner will be selected during the last show of each month. You can also follow our show on Letterboxd. Just search HooperCast. That's letterboxd.com, letterboxd.com, letterboxd.com. Are damn right. And this is the HooperCast, everybody. It is I, Connor. It is he, Dustin. And it is he, Kellen. Hello, Kellen.
Hey, everybody.
Hi. Welcome back to the HooperCast, Kellen.
It's been like 4 years.
It's been a while. The last time Kellen was on, I might have been very drunk.
Not very. Well, you got more drunk as time went on.
Yeah, it was a progression.
And I'm being very good, and I'm not having a glass of scotch while doing this.
I'm not either. I gave it up pretty much that day. I was like, nope, I'm not going to drink a podcast anymore. I used to, until really recently, I used to still have like essentially like a thimble of whiskey while we did these shows.
A thimble?
Yeah, times are tough. And but now no more. It is I've considered it unprofessional in this very professional setting we work in here.
I was gonna say we're so professional.
So professional.
You can see all my you guys can't see it right now, but I'm so professional that in the background I just have stacks of bills that I haven't done anything with.
Well, the viewers can see that. Now the viewers can see that if they're watching on YouTube, which is essentially who we're speaking to right now, the YouTube audience. There's a way to see the full episode later on Patreon. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And of course, all these episodes are on iTunes and various other podcast platforms. We'll talk about that later too. I'm just going to push that to the middle of the show. I'm going to kick the can down the road. So yeah, today we're going to talk about a handful of movies. So we're recording on a Tuesday night, and we're recording on a Tuesday night because Dustin asked if we could bump our recording night because he had a special advanced screening to Incredibles 2 and he wanted to review it for the show. And I said, that's great. That sounds like a worthy cause. Dustin, have at it.
Doesn't it?
And then I asked Dustin, today, we were about lunchtime. I was like, hey man, how's the movie? Dustin, what did you say?
I said, yeah, we didn't see it. My car broke down. So it's a long story, but essentially, so the tickets were free. And I was super, psyched for it. I was like, oh, cool. I found there were just a handful of these tickets left for the Atlanta premiere. And so, I went down, got tickets, all that stuff. And then, what ended up happening was, so I'm sitting on the couch last night with my wife right before we had to leave, and we were talking about it, and it was like, it's going to put us out really late. We both had to work early this morning, and so she was already kind of feeling like, I don't know if we need to go and do all this. Like, they're free, so you're not really out anything. And I wasn't too mad about it, because it's like, I really don't lose anything, and if anything, I just kind of save money because I don't have to drive to Atlanta and back. And so anyway, we were talking about it. I was like, but maybe we should still try to go, whatever. And this was a few hours before, and so I crank up my car because I had to go run some errands, and I crank it up and put it in reverse, and the thing starts sputtering. So like I go, and it's just like what's the name of that Hanna-Barbera the dune buggy? What's the name of that thing?
Wacky Racers.
Maybe, I don't remember.
I'm thinking of Amos Slade's truck from Fox and the Hound. That thing is always, it was like,
yes, yeah, like any number of Disney villain trucks.
They did not
Cruella
take care of
DeVille
their
has
cars
the
at all.
same
Speed
problem.
Buggy, I just searched it.
Speed Buggy. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So it's like Speed Buggy, or it's like Cruella DeVille's car, or the what's the name of the lady from Rescuers that has that sputtery vehicle?
Oh yeah.
It's a Disney staple. So that's how I am, and I'm like sputtering out of my driveway, and like I run the errands, and I come back, and I'm sputtering the whole way back. And
you kept driving? What is wrong?
Yeah, I kept driving. I was like, I have to do these things, and so like I get home, and it was so bad that like when I parked, I could I was walking, but I still felt like I was sputtering, just like walking. It was that bad, and so like. I started thinking like, okay, well, what is this? My car's had a few problems in the past. One of the things that it has had in the past is like a mass airflow sensor that went bad. And it kind of felt like that. So I was like, maybe that's what it is. But the check engine light always comes on when that happens. But the check engine light's not on. So maybe it's just like a weird misfire or something or whatever. Mm-hmm. So anyway, the point is, I went back inside. I came back. I cranked it up again. And when I did that time, then the check engine light came on. I was like, okay, I got to take this thing to AutoZone and get them to check like the code or whatever. They checked the code. It was a cylinder misfire. And like I get home, and like the whole thing, like just the whole way home is just like, and so like I get it into the garage, and my wife does have a car, but we never really drive it that far. This would have probably been the farthest that we've ever really driven it. Like it's a fine car. It just it shakes and has some weird things, and its check engine light is on too. So
man,
we were kind of up a creek.
Yeah, check that engine.
So I was right. So I was just like, all right. So I'm at AutoZone, and they check the thing, whatever. And I get back out to my car after I get the printout. I sit in the car, try to crank it up. Thing's dead, like will not turn on for anything. And so like what I did, because it sounded like it was dead, like the battery was dead. But that's so weird, because like if I'd left a light on or anything like that, it would have happened when I was leaving from my garage, because I drove from home to 3 minutes to get to AutoZone, and then the car was on but not cranked for the 2 minutes that it takes for them to check the computer, and somehow it drained the battery, so I jumped it off, and anyway, I ended up calling my parents, and I was like, hey, this is really weird, but like I have things I have to do. I have to go to work tomorrow, all this stuff. And I was like, can I borrow a car? Like, do you have a car I could borrow? And so anyway, I ended up borrowing one of their cars, and it was late enough that we couldn't go to the premiere and all that stuff. So anyway, the point is, I was not able to go to the movie, which sucks, but at the same time, it's fine because it comes out this weekend, and I was planning on seeing it twice anyway, because I was going to go see it this weekend with my brother, so it works out. It's all good. Unfortunately, I don't have a review for you guys, but I hear it's good. Does that count? like I checked Rotten Tomatoes, and it's pretty good, so I recommend it.
Woo!
There you
I
go.
also recommend regular maintenance on your vehicles. So my car is in the shop now, and I have no idea what's going on with it, but we'll see.
Jeez, Dustin.
I know. All I wanted was to see The Incredibles, and now I'm going to have like a several $100 bill from a car repair.
An incredibly
but
large
it would have
bill.
happened regardless of Incredibles. So, but it makes for a better story that it happened literally the night that you needed to use your car to get to Atlanta.
Exactly. So you know what? But like I said, it all works out, and like I'm not too heartbroken about it. And in fact, I'm going to see the first Incredibles. We're showing it at my theater tomorrow night, so I'm going to get my Incredibles fix tomorrow night, and then again this weekend. So
cool.
There you go. Frown upside down.
Frown upside down.
Woo!
You guys are too positive for me. I would have thrown a hissy fit that would have lasted like 3 days.
Well, we have room for hissy fits, Callan, because I've got some film news to share that I would like y'all's thoughts on while we have film news to talk about. Sometimes there isn't film news to talk about, or at least not film news that interests me.
Sure.
But we ran across a few stories since we were last doing the show, and I just wanted to get some hot takes here. Hot take number one. Well, if the thing would let's open the link. I don't know why it won't open. So here's a story off of Empire. The Suicide Squad 2 adds writers David Barkatz and Todd Stashwick. I didn't even realize they were making a sequel to Suicide Squad. Dustin, do you know that there's going to be another one of these?
Yeah, they've been talking about it for a long time.
Well, they're further down the line with it because now they got these writers.
Right.
I don't. Oh, what do you think, Dustin? I picked this story just because not because of who the writers are, but to me, I went from not knowing there was a sequel to suddenly being aware there was a sequel, and I'm angry about it.
Right. So here's what I'm going to say. So first of all, still have never seen Suicide Squad.
Me neither.
Still probably never will. I hate Jared Leto as the Joker. I haven't even seen it, but I can definitively say that. I hate pretty much every decision that movie made, and I haven't even seen it. I just can't spend my money on it. But here's the upshot, and this is weird to be like, hey, let's look on the bright side. But I'm going to do it. So first of all, I have a hard time believing that any of these projects are ever actually going to happen until filming starts. To me, all of these productions are so troubled that it's very likely that things will not happen. And if you look up someone like Jared Leto on IMDb, he's currently scheduled to be, apparently, in Suicide Squad 2, an Untitled Joker and Harley Quinn project, and Gotham City Sirens, not to mention his own Joker spinoff film. So that's 4 Joker movies starring Jared Leto that are in the works. I would be surprised if one of them happened. And here's why. They are doing some massive shakeups over at DC Entertainment. First, the president stepped down the other day, which I think was more of a, hey, get out of the way kind of a thing than it was like, I'm done. I think it was them pushing her out. I believe her name is Diane Nelson, if I'm not mistaken. And so she's no longer in charge over there. Secondly, it was announced recently that Jeff Johns, who has been the creative supervisor over there, I'm not sure what his actual title was, but Jeff Johns is a long-standing DC Comics writer, really brilliant writer. He's written some really great stories. He revitalized Green Lantern in the early 2000s. Great writer. He stepped down from his position to become a creative position. So essentially he went from top brass making decisions to actually in the trenches writing movies. So he now has announced that he will be writing a Green Lantern film. So with him on board for that and that position vacant, they have filled his position with Jim Lee, who has been a long-standing artist for DC Comics and for Marvel for a while. So they seem to be putting people of people who have been working in the comics industry for a long time for DC in these positions of power over at DC Entertainment, which is great. But that's also why I feel so weird about any of these things that are being so-called announced, is because there's so much shakeup happening over there that I don't know that any of this is ever going to actually make it out of this first draft phase.
Yeah, dude, this is all a mess.
It's awful.
I was not aware I was the only person on here today who had actually seen Suicide Squad. I watched it, Dustin, because I think I was under the impression you had seen it. I feel a little betrayed. I would not have bothered. I would have, because I was in the same spot you were. I essentially knew everything about the film.
Yeah.
I knew everything about it without having to have seen it.
Right.
And I saw it. I didn't learn anything really new except that I was a sucker.
But yeah, man, like who's asking for any of these movies? Is there anybody that you've ever met that's a huge fan of Suicide Squad, or for that matter, any of these movies apart from maybe Man of Steel?
No, people are fans of Wonder Woman. I mean, that was actually a competent film.
But yeah, Wonder Woman.
That's true.
Yes, Wonder Woman.
I always forget Wonder Woman. I never classify
because it doesn't
that
even
as part
feel
of this.
like it's from the same ilk. It doesn't. The fact that's the same actress.
It doesn't. Yeah. It really does. It's like the only one of these films that actually feels like what a DC like movie would feel like to me.
Yeah.
You know, not even Justice League really feels like that. And I say not even
Justice League's awful.
Yeah, I mean, and it's Man of Steel feels like a Zack Snyder film. Justice League sort of feels like what it is, an amalgam of visions. And
yeah,
you know, this Suicide Squad felt like just this dingy, like I don't even know what to call it. Just it just felt just JV. You know,
again, this is my Batman like fandom creeping in here, but like I cannot get behind a movie where the Joker is portrayed that way.
Yeah.
Like, and I hate to be one of those people because people said that about Heath Ledger until they saw the movie. And so like I did keep that in the back of my mind. Like, well, you know, whatever.
Look,
but like,
do you remember, Dustin, like when he was the casting was announced for him, we were both excited. Both of us were excited for, I mean,
yes.
I don't know if you were excited, but we were pointing out.
No, I was.
We were pointing out things. We were like, you know, he's the correct build. I was pointing out that I figured he was a good vocal range for the Joker. He could go both high and low like Mark Hamill could. And he's a good actor. We'd seen him in plenty of other things. I mean, one of the last films he did before Suicide Squad was Dallas Buyers Club, so you knew that he had like the chops as an actor. For me, there were zero warning signs up. Everything that was a red flag about him being cast was purely like, you know, ad hominem, like, oh, that's Jared Leto. It's like, okay, well, he can do a good job. I mean, like, I try to give Ben Affleck the same treatment when he was cast. I gave Heath Ledger the same treatment when he was cast. Like, we just all thought, let's just wait and see what they do. And only one of those people really did a good job of the three I just mentioned. And he's dead. So, you know.
Yeah. No, but it's true. Like the main thing for me, and this is part of, you know, marketing's problem as well, but marketing can only work in so much as the film works. And so for me, like one of the main takeaways from all of the lead up to Suicide Squad was the Joker doesn't smile in anything. Like you never see him actually like smile. And that to me is like a huge red flag that you didn't understand the character. Like, and plus, if you're putting him in this world, right, where the Justice League exists, the Joker has to be so much larger than life that he's going to be able to, you know, basically stick out as like the crazy one in a room full of people wearing spandex.
Well, yes.
Right. So like to put him in like shirtless in like a crocodile like alligator skin jacket that's vaguely purple doesn't do anything, and then with the tattoos and all, which, you know, whatever, but I think it's a little on the nose, like, you know, ha 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 tattooed on your body. I don't know,
doesn't his forehead say damaged?
Yes,
it does.
Yes, it does.
And I'm just like, guys, this is too on the nose. Like, I don't understand. Like, I could see, like, maybe he has, like, the bat symbol, like, tattooed on him. Like,
or branded on him.
Yeah, or whatever. But
isn't Batman branding people? Like, in the beginning of Batman's first Superman, he's, like, going around branding people with the batarangs.
Exactly. But I just don't see, like this version of the Joker who's, like, essentially just a gangster.
Yeah.
Is what it seemed to be.
Man, the picture I'm looking at right now with him is like he's laughing before shooting a Tommy gun. He's got that stupid ass grill. He looks like, dude, okay. Every single day we get a mugshot around Mobile from someone being arrested for meth. This guy looks like he belongs amongst those meth mugs, because he's just a pale faced, redneck basically with some jacked up teeth, and he loves violence.
Right. And to me, that's not the Joker.
No.
And then all the other characters too. It's like none of these are recognizable to me. Like you have Captain Boomerang.
Yeah.
And it's like, look, this is a goofy character. Like have fun with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know how he was portrayed in the film, but whatever.
Terribly.
And I'm sure it's Jai Courtney. And then,
yeah, that dude sucks.
And like Will Smith is Deadshot. It's like, okay, Deadshot I think could be a really great character, and Will Smith's obviously a great actor, but don't give him that role. Give him anything else.
Will Smith is a good actor, cast in probably one of the better roles of the film. He's just in the wrong movie. He could have carried his own movie as that character. He could have had so much more room to breathe, so much more room to showcase himself. And even Margot Robbie, who is probably cast okay as Harley Quinn, I wasn't even really that impressed, because it's just she plays it. It's such just a mixture of tone, because like you said, like the way they light them, the way they shoot this film. I mean, it's a David Ayer movie. It's a street crime type film. There's a little bit with the Enchanters and whatnot, but there's nothing about this that screams like this is a big movie. Like just the stakes are so low, and the characters' abilities are so low. And like you said, if you're gonna have, I keep thinking back to like that DC Universe Online trailer. Remember that trailer that was awesome and the game was terrible? They show you this great trailer of all the Justice League members, and when you play the game, you can't even be any of them. You have to be yourself. Right. Being yourself's so depressing.
Before I started at my company, they did animated sequences for that game.
For real?
I loved that trailer.
Hooper and I watched that trailer like
a lot of times. Yes,
I would watch it.
Oh, dude, it's great. And one of the cool things about it is you have all these heroes sort of mixing it up with each other, and villains in the same frame. And you even have the Joker in there, like amongst like the Green Lantern and Wonder Woman, and Lex Luthor's in there with his mech suit. And I'm just looking at this Joker, and I'm like, there's no way he would I could see him running around in the background during a bunch of chaos like that. He doesn't fit.
But if you remember in that trailer, the Joker is with Harley Quinn, and they have like this makeshift battle armor that's like really like hokey and like weird, and they have like this big bazooka or something. It's been a while since I've seen it, but they have like stuff like written on the bazooka, and it's like really like graffiti.
Yeah, it says like boom, I don't know, just really and stuff.
Goofy. Yeah. And then like the Joker like pulls the trigger, and like they both like have like wacky reactions to it. Yeah. Like I think they fall over with it,
Yeah, he fires it, and it's so explosive that it knocks him over, and it almost hits the Flash.
Yes, and to me, like that's so cool that like in amidst all the chaos, the Joker and Harley Quinn are just like causing more. Like I don't even care what we're doing at this point. Let's just do more damage. And that to me is cool. But to have the Joker just being like, you owe me money. See, man, or whatever he's doing in that movie is just weird. And then the voice that Jared Leto went with, I didn't care for. His laugh I thought was uninspired. I just thought the whole thing was dumb. And so really he's the reason I didn't see the movie. Not to mention all the junk that was going on, like, oh, he sent like dead rats to his co-stars and like whatever. And I'm just like, so I don't care.
Yeah.
Like none of this is important at all. So yeah, no, I honestly couldn't care less. But what's weirdest about this, and I don't know if you were going to talk about this, Hooper, is there is this solo Joker film coming out with Jared Leto, apparently,
yes.
Whatever, they're working on it. But there's also Martin Scorsese working on another Joker movie that is rumored to star Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker.
I believe that's Todd Phillips now.
Is it Todd Phillips? Okay.
I think it is Todd Phillips now.
I think Scorsese's producing it or something.
Wait, inside the same universe?
No.
No, and so that's the thing.
Meant to be standalone deliberately.
Exactly.
Wait, how do they do that alongside like a world-building multi-movie?
Because it'll make money.
But that's why I'm saying I don't think any of this is going to happen, and I think all this creative shakeup over at DCE is setting up for the fact that they're understanding, like, hey, either we do these standalone things or we do a world building, but we can't do both.
Yeah.
And so I think they're shifting. God. And if it were me, obviously my gut is like, break everything that Zack Snyder did. You know, unfortunately, like, I like Henry Cavill, but lose him, you know, you got to just start from the ground up. But realistically, I know they're going to keep Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman moving forward. So, and then they've got, you know, they're too far down the road on this Aquaman movie, which may do well, may not do well. I've heard good things about test screenings, but I'm not sure. The point is, you know, they've got these things that they have to do. So building back from that, I would say, okay, maybe we say something like, okay, the Wonder Woman thing, let's make them standalone now, and it's still Gal Gadot, whatever. But then, like, we're gonna do a, you know, Matt Reeves Batman trilogy that he has planned without Ben Affleck, and it's gonna be its own thing. And then when we do a Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie, which, by the way, I don't think there should be a Joker movie, period.
No,
I'm just gonna go on the record.
No, I agree.
I just don't agree with that. But like, if you do everything as a standalone, fine. Yeah. Like, and let Wonder Woman be the last vestige of what was. Yeah. And then just never mention Batman or Superman or any of those characters again. The beautiful thing about that is you can set, I think Wonder Woman 2 is going to be set in the 80s. Great. So then you can do Wonder Woman 3 set in the 90s or the early 2000s and then call it a day, and you've got your trilogy, and then you move on.
Oh, they're not going to do the 90s. They'll be criticized for copying Captain Marvel.
Well, this is true. But
not that would stop them, but, you know.
Yeah, they're criticized for so many reasons. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know what the answer is, but the truth is you can't do 4 movies starring Jared Leto and a movie starring Joaquin Phoenix playing the same character. You just can't. And likewise, I don't think the audience knows the Joker, sure. But I don't think the audience will turn out in droves to see a movie about the Joker if you don't say, oh, it's actually a Batman movie. Like, even if you're like, oh, Batman has a cameo, it's not good enough.
It's going to be so confusing because the audience is going to, like, the general audience, people who don't listen to film news and don't understand that all these films coming up are not going to honor continuity, they're going to be so confused. And they're going to wonder, like, and especially with Marvel out there kicking ass and keeping their continuity, they're going to be like, well, what the hell? Like, why don't... Yeah. What?
Well, and see, this is what I always, like, hang my hat on, right? So they're in the comics right now, I don't know if you're aware, so Batman is in the process of marrying Catwoman. Bruce Wayne marrying Selena Kyle. He proposed to her last year, and so they've been building up to the wedding. And there's this moment that I saw, from the comics, where Batman's sitting on a couch with, like, Dick Grayson, and he's talking to him about, like, why Clark Kent is going to be his best man and not Dick. And so anyway, like my point is, like, that's an interesting scene, but they're not fighting crime, they're not solving a mystery, it's just like Bruce Wayne sitting around, right? And I would gladly watch a movie with stuff like that in it. But the Joker, like, I have no interest in watching him sit around if he's not actively doing something with Batman. In fact, I choose to believe that the Joker doesn't sit around. The Joker doesn't go to the grocery store. The Joker doesn't do these things, because the more of that I see, the less of the illusion there is. Yeah. And so likewise, like, if you give me a Joker story, okay, fine. But if Batman's not the antagonist, I don't care. And so you have to have Batman in that story. So then that begs the question, you have to use the Ben Affleck Batman, which, if you're trying to break away from, then you've defeated the whole purpose of everything.
It'd be really funny if specifically the things you're talking about, like, don't show him doing normal things. Just for, like, crass humor, I can see them opening on, like, Jared Leto's Joker taking a poop.
Yeah.
Like something completely humanizing, and then and then he like doesn't flush it, and then it really pisses you off.
Yes. Or yes.
And you're like, oh shit, I'm out of here.
Harley goes in there afterwards and goes,
out of here.
"Oh, Mr. J, what are you doing?"
I don't think your poop went down all the way, Mr. J.
I don't think your poop went down all the way, Mr. J. Harley, I don't flush.
It's a power move.
Yeah, Kellen, real quick, can I ask you? Can I bring something to your attention, and then I want to hear about the movie you saw.
Tell me about
they have they've announced a Game of Thrones prequel for HBO. Did you know that?
Show?
Yes. HBO.
What?
Yes.
Wait, so is it going to be like the War of the Seven Kingdoms?
Here, according to, again, from Empire, here's the article. Last year, it emerged that there were several shows in development that were vying to become the direct successor shows to HBO and blah, 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 Game of Thrones. A number of writers have been at work on different concepts, and now one, spearheaded by the Kingsman co-writer Jane Goldman, will go at least to pilot stage. Naturally, most of the details are still under wraps, but we do know that Goldman and Thrones novelist George R.R. Martin came up with the basic story, which Goldman turned into a script. Should the show reach series stage, she'll be overseeing it. It's reportedly going to tackle the dark, ancient history of Westeros, chronicling the world's descent from the golden age of heroes to its darkest hour. The official description offers the simple line, "Only one thing is for sure, from the horrifying secrets of Westeros' history to the true origin of the White Walkers, the mysteries of the East to the Starks of legend. It's not the story we think we know." I am zero interest in this. I don't know about you, Kellen.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. Go ahead. I'll just say real quick, because Dustin, I know you have no interest because you don't watch Game of Thrones. So, and I know that you're against this on principle as a hater of unnecessary prequels. But
sounds about right.
Yeah. But as someone who loves Game of Thrones, I'm not interested in seeing this story. It's the same thing with Fear the Walking Dead for me. Like when Fear the Walking Dead started popping up, I was already towards the end of The Walking Dead. I was already at the part where I was like, well, I wish it was ending. It's not. And now there's this other show and I don't care about it. And, and I tried it and I didn't like it even then. So with Game of Thrones, the final season's the final half, the series is going to end next year. And for me, it's like great because I really am enjoying Game of Thrones. I like where everything's going. I'm anticipating the final 8 episodes. And the last thing I wanted to see was something like this come out and go, we're going to keep it going. But like, at least it's not direct. But for me, it's just like, I thought HBO was above this, to be honest. Like if I'm being honest.
All right. So my initial reaction as you were telling me, because gosh, I just don't pay attention to this kind of news unless it pops up on front page of Reddit or something. But my initial reaction when you said it was going to be about the past is I was like, is it going to be about the War of the Seven Kingdoms that led to the circumstances in Game of Thrones series itself? And that's when I was like, oh, I don't care. But if they go way, way far back and they play with the mythology and stuff of the world that's been built there, you could do anything, and it doesn't really even have to have an attachment to Game of Thrones, because Game of Thrones, they're all the way that kind of fantasy, it's not high fantasy. It's kind of weird like that. Like there's dragons and stuff, but really if you plopped it into some kind of serfdom in like the Middle Ages, it would fit. I mean, there's some mysticism, but like the whole point of Song of Ice and Fire is that it's kind of taking place after this period of like magic. So that's why all these things, even in a fantasy world, are seen as legends. Like nobody believed in the White Walkers.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, stuff like that. So I don't think it needs to exist, but I also know that HBO has never had anything as huge as Game of Thrones. Like,
true.
I mean, the biggest thing they had before that was Sopranos. You gotta know they're gonna run with it.
Yeah. Oh, damn it.
So, I mean, it makes sense from a business stance, and I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not super excited about it. And if there's not anything beyond that on HBO at that time worth having a subscription for, I probably won't subscribe.
Right.
But no, I'm not offended by the idea.
Okay.
That's my take.
That's a good point. That kind of gets me to rethink it a little bit. So, okay then, Kellen. At this point in the show, we're going to say goodbye to the YouTube people. So if you want to catch the rest of the show, the full audio version is on a variety of podcast distribution platforms. You can catch us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, RadioPublic, PocketCasts, CastBox, Breaker, and Anchor FM. Just search HooperCast on all those various things. If you want to see the rest of this video episode, you can actually get early access to it and the full video if you just go to our Patreon page and donate $1. And if you do that, you get the rest of this video episode. It's super cool. You can see me and Kellen and Dustin all coughing some more.
And drinking water.
And drinking cough syrup.
Sweet tea.
If you want to see me finish the rest of this bottle of cough syrup, donate $1. Anyway, yeah, visit our Patreon. Check out, I would say, like all the perks. We have just a couple perks, but they're cool perks and they're pretty inexpensive perks. So check out the full episode, patreon.com/HooperCast. Donate $1 for a video. Pretty soon we're going to be ramping up some audio commentaries. And I'm pretty excited about those, Dustin.
I know.
I gotta be honest, they're gonna be really fun to do. And they'll probably be really fun to listen to. So that's all gonna be at patreon.com/HooperCast. So farewell, YouTube people, and everyone else, keep listening or go to Patreon.
And as a means of saying how easy it is, I just subscribed on iTunes.
Hey.
Kellen, thank you.
Yay.
Yay.
I done did it. I did the thing.
Woo.
Right.
All right. Bye, YouTube people.